The night began like any other. I brushed my teeth, slipped into my pajamas, and crawled into bed, seeking solace in the familiar routine. As I settled under the covers, a comforting drowsiness enveloped me, luring me into the realm of dreams. Little did I know that this ordinary night would unravel into a horrifying descent into arachnid terror. I awoke with a start, the silence shattered by an unsettling rustling sound. Confused, I rubbed my eyes and squinted into the darkness, trying to make sense of the noise. As my eyes adjusted, I noticed something peculiar. The walls seemed to be moving. A sickening realization gripped me. The room was crawling with spiders. Panic surged through my veins as I recoiled, watching in horror as the arachnids traversed every surface of my bedroom. They crawled along the walls, dangled from the ceiling, and scurried across the floor, their dark silhouettes multiplying in the shadows. My heart pounded, and a cold sweat coated my trembling skin. I fumbled for the light switch, desperate to dispel the nightmarish illusion. With a flicker, the room was bathed in light, revealing the grotesque reality. Spiders of all shapes and sizes had invaded my sanctuary. The walls were now a living tapestry of their relentless movement, and I was trapped in this arachnid nightmare. Fear rooted me to the spot as the spiders converged, their dark bodies casting ominous shadows that danced on the walls. I swatted at the imaginary cobwebs clinging to my face, but the silk-like strands were tangible, sticking to my skin like an invisible shroud. I could feel their tiny legs brushing against me, their presence crawling across every inch of my body. In a surge of revulsion, I leaped from the bed, the spiders scattering as I thrashed in a desperate attempt to rid myself of their invisible threads. My room had transformed into a surreal battleground, and I, an unwitting soldier, fought against an enemy I could barely perceive. As I stumbled toward the door, the once familiar threshold became a barrier, a fortress guarded by a legion of 8-legged sentinels. I hesitated, torn between the paralyzing fear of the spiders within and the unknown horrors that awaited beyond. But the suffocating infestation left me with no choice. With a deep breath, I flung open the door, stumbling into the hallway. To my horror, the spiders seemed to follow, pouring out from my room like a relentless tide. The corridor became a macabre runway, the spiders marching in a nightmarish procession that seemed to defy the laws of nature. I sprinted down the hallway, the spiders in pursuit, their silent advance echoing in my ears. Each step felt like an eternity, my breaths ragged as I sought refuge from the unfolding nightmare. The walls seemed to close in on me as the arachnids closed the distance, their insidious presence threatening to engulf me. My frantic footsteps echoed through the empty halls as I raced toward the front door, my only hope of escaping the relentless horde. The air thickened with a suffocating dread, and the spiders seemed to multiply, forming a ghastly amalgamation that blocked my path. As I reached for the doorknob, a shiver ran down my spine. The spiders, now moving in unison, wove intricate patterns in the air, forming a spectral web that barred my exit. Dread clenched my chest, and I could feel the malicious intelligence behind their synchronized movements. In a surge of desperation, I slammed my shoulder against the door, breaking through the spectral barrier. I stumbled into the night, gasping for breath, my senses reeling from the suffocating nightmare I had left behind. The darkness outside offered no solace. Every shadow seemed to harbor the potential for arachnid horrors. With trembling hands, I fumbled for my phone, the only source of light in the oppressive night. The pale glow revealed a grotesque truth. The spiders had not abandoned me. They clung to my clothes, their presence an intimate invasion of my personal space. I swatted at them frantically, my movements a futile attempt to escape their invisible grasp. Desperation guided my steps as I stumbled away from the accursed house, the spiders trailing behind like a malevolent shadow. The once familiar streets twisted into a labyrinth of terror, and I could feel their influence tightening around me, a surreal force that transcended the boundaries of reality. In a last-ditch effort, I sought refuge in a nearby park, the open space offering a momentary respite from the claustrophobic streets. But even here, the spiders clung to me, their relentless pursuit unabated. I collapsed onto a bench, my breaths coming in ragged gasps, the night air tainted by the stench of fear. As the first light of dawn painted the sky, the spiders began to retreat, their ethereal forms dissipating into the shadows. I watched in disbelief as the nightmare that had plagued me for endless hours receded, leaving me trembling and alone in the cold morning light. The once silent park now echoed with the haunting memory of a surreal arachnid invasion. I shivered, haunted by the inexplicable horror that had unfolded in the confines of my bedroom. The line between dream and reality blurred, leaving me questioning the sanity of my own perception. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel for more stories. Your support means the world to me, and it helps me create more great content for you. Until next time.